Okay, 29th of April, Google Hangout to show you how singerviellesales.com uses the click-to-purchase software when we're running auctions. We've had a few issues with the Google Hangout today, probably due to internet lines. But anyway, we're a little bit late. But we just want to let's just show you how the auction works. We've got an auction running next week. We have a couple of properties going to be sold at auction. The key difference around what we do as opposed to other online auction software is that we are not eBay style. We're live auctioning with a live auctioneer. In this instance, it's me interacting with the bidding audience. Now, we've got a couple of bidders that you will know who are lined up to help with the demonstration for you. So we have, first of all, we have bidder Dale Henry, and we have bidder Richard Wolford. It's very serious, right? And here's me, Neil Singer. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you how an auction works. And I'm going to share with you a screen. Now, this is a screen which shows you typically a property listing. And you can see that it says, click here to view property, request verification. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. I think this is important because by logging in, it shows you the first key thing. You have to be logged in, because if you're not logged in, you're not sitting on our servers, and if you're not sitting on our servers, we don't know who you are. That's how the system operates. You can see right now, logged in, you can see some green traffic lights which actually confirm that I am the bidder and I'm actually able to bid in a property auction. And if you go into the actual auction room, again, you can see that at the moment there's no auctioneer's comments, the auction isn't running, but at least you're cleared to purchase. You're logged in and you're cleared to purchase. So that's how an auction room operates. Now, this is what happens when an auction starts. So, at say in this instance, this was due to start at say I think it was set up for 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock, somebody is logged into the system, and they can see that it says the auction is open. All right. So what's happened now is the various people actually participating in the auction will see the auctioneer start to interact with the market. So that's good afternoon. So like any other auctioneer, you might start saying, today we have, great properties. Then we give great properties for sale, and so on. And this is exactly the same thing as if someone is standing on a rostrum and trying to wind up the room. So it's exactly the same thing. Now, if you're a bidder, you're getting this information in front of you. So I'm showing you here, logged in as me. If you were to look at the, if I was to show you the screen of, say, one of the other guys here, let's show you, here's me. Let me show you Richard. Let's switch to Richard. How do I stop sharing? Stop sharing. Richard, that's Richard. Richard, say hello. There you are.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so Richard, as you can see, that's his screen as well. He's seeing, it doesn't matter where he is in the world, he's seeing the same thing. All right, so let's go back to me. Here I am again. Let me share a typical screen with you once again. So just so we can all see what's going on. Right, so the auctioneer is chatting away, and what he says is, and what he'll start doing when he feels it's right, he'll say, let's start with lot 1. Exactly the same as if I was standing on a box or in a room, etc., etc. And you'll see I'll start with plot 1. When I open for lot 1, you'll see the actual property for sale comes up. So you can see here it says, you, Neil Singer, I verify to bid on this property. Please be patient. The auctioneer is about to open the auction. And what the auctioneer would do is he would set the bid increment. At the moment, you can see the bid increment is 0. He might set it for, say, I don't know, let's say he sets it for £50,000. All right, because you don't want to have the increment at £1. Otherwise, you'll be sitting here all day long. So the auctioneer is saying, let's chatting away with the room, and he's got all his various. Possibly he's got some messages already saved, and he might, I don't know, he might be saying things like, I don't know, trying to coax people. He might explain to them with pre-messages, for example. He might give them some information as he's going on. He's all the time you're trying to get the people going. And then the auctioneer might say, okay, let's start. Right, let's start opening bids. Now, in order to start a bid, you'll see things change. You'll see that opening bids will occur, and then you'll suddenly see it says you're verified to bid on this property. And the first bid that may come in, it may be, I don't know, it may be a bid of say £600,000, and that's the first bid that may be lodged. And you can see first bid £600,000. Now, let's show you someone else making a bid. So let's switch across to say Richard. So this is Richard now. So Richard's going to make a bid. Okay, so you can see Richard's bidding 650. She's confirming he's accepted the rules. You've got to click the rules before making a bid. That's again a legal requirement. And you'll see Richard's bid 650. So all of a sudden, so there's Richard's screen. Now, on my screen, I would see exactly the same thing. On Dale's screen, where's Dale's screen? Dale's see exactly the same thing. That is how simple it is to follow what's going on. It says here's Dale Henry. This is Dale Henry. You or Dale Henry are verified to bid. That's Dale's screen. That's how easy it is to follow what's going on. So the idea is that you can all the time follow the auctioneer. The auctioneer is saying, again in the room, great bid. Right. Now the key thing to note is how easy we've made it to show people when actually they check whether they're the highest bidder or not. So let's say I've decided to bid £700,000. Now at the moment you'll see that on my screen it says Neil Singer, you're verified. I bid 700. I bid 700,000. I get, are you sure? And 700,000. It says you are currently the highest bidder. So, and the auctioneer is saying again, good bid, and he doesn't know who I am, but he can see I'm bidder A. Good bid, bidder, Mr. A. All right, because you want to keep the anonymity of all the bidders. Now, perhaps if Dale or Richard then makes a higher bid than 700, you'll see how again it gets displayed to actually get that information across. So guys, one of you want to make a bid of 750? Who's bidding? Dale? Richard? Okay, 800. So all of a sudden you've seen that it's gone from Neil Singer, you are the highest bidder, to you are not the highest bidder. And so it goes on. And all the time the auctioneer, let's say that your bidding stops, right? People aren't bidding. And it's very hard to actually coax people to make an offer. So I may say, you've probably been to an auction room, you might see an auctioneer might say something like, I'll take 25,000. He's trying to reduce the bid increment. So I've said here, I'll take 25,000. Now the way to do that is I would change the bid increment to 25,000 because that's the minimum bid increment. Now it might just happen that even though I've said I'll take 25,000, I've decided that I want to do a knockout bid. And I've decided actually, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I know there's competition. I've seen all the bidders down the side. I've seen bidder D, E, F. I'm going to actually bid 900. I want to do a knockout bid. So I might do a very strong bid at 900 to try and win it. All right? And again, the auctioneer is saying great bid. So you're interacting with the marketplace all along, and you're trying to coax people along. And then you might just get some very good, strong bids. Or the auctioneer can't spell. That wasn't very good, was it? Greta bid. It wasn't actually a lady. It was just I can't type. So there you are. But you can have all these things pre-prepared. So let's say there's some bidding between you guys. Let's take us up. Let's just get some bidding going on. So I'm the auctioneer. And again, you can see all the time that there are 4 people in the room bidding. So there's some competition as a bidder, and I'm saying, let's say the auctioneer is saying I'm going to close soon. I'm closing soon because he wants, of course, in any auctioneer you want to keep the momentum going. So someone's bid £1 million, and I'm the auctioneer. I might be saying any more bids. Any more bids, and we've had 1,050,000, and I'm going. So you can see that the 1,050,000 was from bidder E, and bidder D bid £1 million. So I might say, any more Mr. D. Now I know in the back end of the system exactly who bidder D is because I've cleared him. He's been verified for money laundering. We know he's financially able to purchase. So I'm trying to coax him to actually come forward and he's saying, and you know, let's say he's stuck. You know, he might say no more, no more, no more. So then all I'll do is I might try and close it. I might coax him out by saying going once, again, as anybody would do in a traditional auction room, going twice, and I'm saying I'll sell on 3. I'll sell on 3, and I might just go, you know, what, I might literally give them a couple of seconds because I want people to sort of think there's obviously no more bids coming in, so I might go, right, okay, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see at this point, you'll see that happen. You'll see what happens. Sold. And at that point, the contract has been formed online. An instantaneous memorandum of sale will be emailed to all parties. It will be recorded in the back of the system, and the bidder can know he's got to send the deposit over, and the deal's done. The property's been sold for $1,050,000. Now there's one thing actually which may actually help people watching when it comes to actually being very comfortable about what we do as a business, because there's a key point about property selling, and it's all to do with transparency. So if we actually look at the property that was just sold at auction, it was the demonstration property at 101 High Street, and if you look here, I want to show you the bidding history. The bidding history shows you all the bids. It shows who bid and when, and it creates digital signatures all along, and it shows you who's bid and how, and what time they bid, etc. So the point about all this is that you are able to track at any one time. If anybody ever questioned us and said, well, we're not sure, we don't actually believe that you actually sold the property genuinely, we're able to prove it. So that's how click to purchase auctions work and how they run it at singerviellesales.com. We provide people the ability to buy private treaty online or post auction private treaty online, again something which no other online system provides, hence making life easy. All we've actually done using the click to purchase system at singerviellesales.com is we have simply taken the traditional auction methodology and put it online. We've not tried to reinvent the wheel by inventing an eBay style way of auctioning property. I mean, you wouldn't go to an auction room, make a bid, go out and have a cup of tea, come back half an hour later to see if someone's bid higher. It's a real-time auctioning, and that's what we've done at singerviellesales.com. So guys, in terms of the market, anyone want to say anything on the market? Mr. Richard Walfrid.
Over to you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's interesting. We've heard from various people during the course of this week how quiet they are, which they believe has been or is down to Brexit. However, we also have noticed a slowdown in the market, but not actually in terms of the levels we're achieving. I would agree with a lot of people's sentiment that there are fewer buyers and fewer sellers. However, the level of pricing has remained levels similar to last year. So whilst the market is slower and less frenetic than it has been in 2015 until the outcome of the election, I think it will continue to be a slower market. But however, if you have got something that people want, it is still possible to oversell, and hopefully with the right outcome in May, the market will then pick up again just as it did last year after the general election.
Yeah, I think I think it's interesting actually. I think it's interesting. I think that pricing is still strong. I think some of the reason the market is probably slowed down is because people are talking themselves into a slowdown, and we haven't noticed any change in the buyers. We've just thought that maybe perhaps some of the sellers would rather hold things back. So it's a sort of slowdown from the seller's side, more perhaps from the buyer's side. Now we've actually got a property which has just come to the market this week, which actually we've got good interest in. Dale, over to you.
Hi everyone. Hello. Can you hear me? So we've just brought to the market this week a high-yielding retail investment in Edenbridge in Kent, very affluent southeast town. It's let to Corals until December 2020. Attractive Grade 2 listed building. Prime position on the high street. Lot size 290,000, so ideal for a private investor, and we're quoting a net initial yield of over 10%. Definitely one for you to have a look at. All the information, including full legal pack, is on the website. And we'll have a number of new sales coming up also during the course of next week after the bank holiday. We've got some further retail and leisure sales coming up. We've got a bank investment in the southeast. We have a leisure and retail investment on the Isle of Wight. Some retail warehousing. So plenty more sales coming through, despite many people saying they're quiet. We're certainly not. There's no slowdown this end.
I think what's interesting. I think what's interesting is that actually the marketplace is such that we've actually still haven't seen any slowdown in the interest from foreign investors. We get about 20% of our traffic comes from overseas. Last year, 20% of our sales went to overseas investors, and we try and make life easy for them by presenting in a way they don't have to visit. And you'd be surprised how many people don't see a property when they're buying, provided you give the information they need. Why do they when they're buying an investment? Okay, so that's the latest news of Vielle. Anything else, guys? Anything else I've forgotten to add? No, don't think so. Okay, so watch our auctions next week. You've seen how easy it is. If you want to buy an auction, don't be nervous. It's actually a lot easier than going into an auction room and being intimidated by traditional and established dealers at the back of the room shouting and screaming. With us, you can just bid from a computer. Okay, in next Hangout next week, hopefully we won't have the same issues we had today with the Google Hangout software. Let's see what happens next week. Have a good weekend.